You're watching Pyro Media Network. Pyro Media family, thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience with us is fruitful. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. And we do hope you consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Conversations with Clergy. I'm your boy, Dr. Donta Morrison. I'm here to just navigate us through this impactful, important, and powerful discussion we're going to have on today. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the show. We go live every Thursday around 5:15-ish to provide insight and education about how the Black community can better understand sexual health and really help us combat HIV. I know it's a topic that does not get a lot of discourse nowadays because HIV is kind of an afterthought thanks to COVID, but HIV is still impacting communities of color at alarming rates. And Conversation with Clergy is all about educating in areas of sexual health and just raising awareness and heightening awareness with that. Today's episode is going to be powerful. I am excited. It's a brother coming on this show that I have been just following and admiring for quite some time. He is full of knowledge, full of insight, full of wealth, and I am just amped to just have him. So if y'all have ever heard of Conscious Lee, listen, put them hands together in the comments. So let's do a quick bio read real quick. So George Conscious Lee is a dynamic orator, innovator, educator, and influential content creator. He was born in Bryan, Texas, and he overcame childhood adversity to attend the University of Oklahoma, where he received a bachelor's and 2 master's degrees while becoming one of the top college debaters in the country. All right, that's a huge feat within itself. He was a member of the first African-American duo to become #1 seed in the National Debate Tournament, where they were touted for their unique introduction of hip-hop to sustain sophisticated arguments. Lee's masterful knowledge of hip-hop culture and his academic expertise across African-American studies, human relations, and higher education enable him to connect across audiences and deliver impactful results through Conscious University. Lee has also led dozens of workshops and taught at more than 6 educational institutions. So listen, if you are on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or any other social media platform, Conscious Lee is the man that you really want to follow because education is elevation. He's all about that research and not that me search. Go ahead and get your hat, ordered mine today. But without further ado, help me welcome to Conversations with Clergy for the very first time, the phenomenal Conscious Lee. Bro, what's up?
What's going on? What's going on?
How you doing, man? How you doing?
Doing good. Doing good, you know.
Normally I do a long intro and do all this setup and formalities and whatnot, but I wanted to get you on here, as soon as possible because I love how you are able to articulate and dissect topics that really impact our community, and you're unapologetically Black, which is amazing. And then on the heels of Juneteenth, who better to have on the show than someone as infamous as you? And I appreciate it. But let's talk about these 2 master's degrees. You didn't say what they're in, and that's what I'm interested in knowing.
Yeah, I have a master's degree in human relations. I have a master's degree in adult and higher education. I also got some what's it called, a graduate master's, some graduate certificates. I got certificates, But yeah, human relations with a focus in organizational development, and adult and higher education with a focus in administration.
I love that, man. I love that. Did you, being that you overcame just a lot of obstacles growing up, and you share some stuff with me and we've hung out in person, but did you ever see yourself here, the influencer that you are today?
Not the way I feel like. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I've always felt like I could do some amazing things in life. You feel me? I always felt like I was a little bit different, in the way that I was a little different usually caught people's attention. I did not see it being as big as it is now. Honestly, I didn't see it kind of growing the legs that it's grown. Being real, every day I learned that my influence and my platform is a lot bigger than I realized.
Yeah, man, it's big. It's big. And the thing about, I love your phrase research instead of me search, because in this dispensation in time with social media allowing everyone to have a voice or an opinion or a share, some people don't know what is true versus what is just some made up buffoonery, and oftentimes that buffoonery wins. Sad to say, but I love the fact that you're not only someone who can eloquently just share the message, but you're also studied and learned. So even if folks don't believe you, you can still go back to the facts that's rooted in the research to say, you ain't gotta believe me, but you will really believe these statistics, and data shows X, Y, and Z.
Definitely. So we start getting into them facts over feelings. The motto is definitely always research over me search. I know right now I feel like there are a lot of people that love to have very deep feelings about the shallow conclusions they've come to, and they really be trying to weaponize those shallow feelings and thoughts and emotions. And sometimes, they like to push misinformation, but then when you call them out, they be like, "It's just my opinion. It's just my opinion." Well, your opinion is wrong.
Right.
Or
right.
Being real, a lot of folks don't know the difference between an opinion and a fact. Not recognizing that an opinion is supposed to be non-falsifiable. You know what I'm saying? I like oysters more than I like crab legs. You know what I'm saying? I think oysters are better than crab legs. That's an opinion statement. You feel me? Once I start making statements that can be proven true or false, meaning it's falsifiable, then I start think that people don't know how to acknowledge, I thought this thing, I was wrong, but this is what I thought. Instead, people be like, well, just my opinion. It's like, your opinion is wrong.
Right. And I think that your skin is thicker because you come from the world of debating. And most folks don't know how to have a healthy debate without getting all sensitive behind it. If you're proven wrong, you're proven wrong, grow from it, and then start sharing that factual information. But don't assume that because you've been proven wrong, then now we all think you just stupid. No, that's not the case. It was a healthy debate, healthy discourse. You dropped the big joker on the table. You took the whole book. Don't get in your feelings. That's all it is. That's all it is.
And sometimes, respectfully, you might be a little stupid. You feel me? For me, how I've been able to get into this position is being able to be real with myself about the different issues, topics, categories that I'm stupid on, and not wanting to be that way and wanting to grow. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes the best critic or the person that's better at calling out you being stupid is you. You feel me? And just being able to, move accordingly.
I love that. So let's get into this topic. I got four questions for you, but I'm gonna set them all up accordingly. So basically, the AIDS epidemic, in the United States began in 1981. In March, certain groups were at risk for HIV, and as far as mortality, AIDS-related deaths increased throughout the 1990s and peaked in the mid-2000s with nearly 2 million annual deaths. Since then, the annual number of deaths from AIDS has declined and since half. And 2016 was the first year since the peak in which fewer than 1 million people died from AIDS. Now, according to the World Health Organization, since onset, approximately 40.4 million people have died from HIV-related illnesses. All right. So that's the facts, that's the data, that's the statistics. So my first question for you, here we are, 43 years after the AIDS epidemic began. We're still trying to get people to learn basic information about HIV transmission and prevention. Why do you think that is?
I think that sadly, the people that are most impacted by HIV are seen as being like very pathologically exposable and disposable, and as a result, I think people don't care about, you feel me, those communities of people. You know what I'm saying? Maybe African people, LGBT community. I think every way you are able to think about how different communities have desperate impacts when it comes to HIV. I think typically those communities are already dealing with a certain level of being seen as disposable. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people buy into the disposability of those communities because they feel like, you know, those communities are being punished by God. You know what I'm saying? You're gay, so now you have AIDS, so you have HIV. God is punishing you. You're supposed to have it. You should have been doing X, Y, and Z. I think there's a lot of pathology people still buy into and make it work, even though 40 years later we've come so far in, you know what I'm saying, being able to treat HIV. You still have a lot of people, their mindset and what they think technology is stuck in 1993, 1994. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what I think.
And I agree. I agree. You talk about that those disposable populations, and people have just become they lack empathy when it comes to discussing HIV, how it's transmitted, who's most at risk and whatnot. And data is showing that it's hitting the African American community at alarming rates. And one would think that 43 years into the game, if we know that the Black community is one of the most impacted by HIV, you think we come together as a community to see what can we do? Because I don't care how people frame it, everybody got somebody in their family, you know, or in their close friendship circle that get down with the same sex, you know. So those people that always say, I don't know nobody gay, that's not in my family, yada, yada, yada. It's because you are associating homosexuality with an outward look or outward behavior. You know, some people are only gay in the bedroom. It's like, now look, you know, you may not never see no man carrying a purse. I don't mean he ain't got no man at home. You know, and I think because we look at those kind of stereotypes and we stigmatize individuals, that we're overlook the ones who really are at risk. And we don't talk about it. So do you think there ever come a time within the Black community, you know, people that look like us, that we're going to begin to have healthy conversations about the fluidity and the totality of human sexuality?
Man, to be honest with you, I like to say yeah, in terms of being hopeful, but in reality, I don't think so. You feel me? Being real. If I'm being completely practical and pragmatic in what I'm thinking about and how I'm thinking about it. Especially because right now we're going into an election period, and what I see is a lot of individuals are able to link up with the ops, the white supremacists, because they have such a aversion for people that's gay. You know what I'm saying? For people that's same gender loving, for people that's, you know what I'm saying, gender non-conforming. So for me, I think that because so many people in our community want to grasp at whatever little power they can, a lot of times that power and domination comes at the expense of us recognizing that spectrum of sexuality. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. As a matter of fact, before I came on here, I made a post on my Instagram and my Facebook page about how children see more raunchiness and sexualization at a Hooters, you know what I'm saying, or a halftime show at a sports halftime show, college, professional, whatever, than they see at a drag show. But a lot of people have that idea that, well, they're gonna say it's about being inappropriateness, but it's really about them feeling like they're exposing their kids to another type of sexuality that they believe they don't, you know what I'm saying, conform to. So it's just like a lot of, you know, misinformation, or what I call people being lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? And you know, when people think deeply about shallow, they drown in their own understanding, and that's just.
But it's also about that heteronormative mindset. So seeing the Hooter Girls, you know, that's cool. Take your little kid to go see the Hooter Girls, because one day he gonna grow up and he gonna love women, allegedly. So why not put him in these spaces where he can begin to just worship the female body, you know, person, because that's just normal. But if your son went to a football game and was like, yo, I like how the quarterback looking, then you want to pop him, you know, and it's like, well, what's going on? What's really going on? So there's also, we're gonna switch reels real quick, and I see you, Patrice. We're gonna talk about the Black church. Trust me, it's on the docket here. I got the Black church on here. We gonna dig deep into that. But I gotta get this other stuff out the way first, per HVTN contract and guidelines. So have you heard of condom fatigue?
I haven't heard of it, but I probably can guess what it is.
Okay. So condom fatigue, basically, I've worked in sexual health for 20 some odd years. And at the beginning of my work in sexual health, I was always out at the clubs or whatever, passing out condoms. Everybody trying to find you to get a condom. They want some free condoms when you come back with the condoms. Well, there's now condom fatigue because people are sick of wearing condoms. People don't like using condoms, specifically those who are most at risk for HIV infection. One thing that I did learn about condoms and the denial of condoms, if you're using condoms, you are admitting to yourself that you are doing something that you probably should not be doing if you've been raised in a heteronormative mindset. So most, I hate the word DL, but most DL dudes don't like using condoms because that's an admittance that I'm intentionally having sex with this guy. If I don't use a condom, I can always blame it on the alcohol, blame it on the drugs, blame it on something else. But that accountability comes with condom use. So that's one reason some don't use it. Others is because condoms is a reminder that in the bedroom, there is a risk. Sex can be the only time you can be completely vulnerable with somebody. So if I want to be completely vulnerable, I don't want to have this outside interference that's going to remind me that me being intimate with you may lead to a disease I can never get rid of. So I'm not using the condom. Lastly, we have a lot of biomedical prevention strategies out there. We got PrEP, we got PEP, we got DoxyPEP, and coming soon is BNAPs. You know, that's a later conversation, like 2 months down the road. But with all these biomedical strategies, and we can take a pill not to contract HIV, we can take a pill not to contract STDs, we can take pills after having an unsafe sexual experience to decrease the rates of HIV infection. But when it comes to the Black community, people that look like us, specifically women, they still not getting the education. So what should be done to increase awareness about PrEP, PEP, and DoxyPEP? And then to add to that, that's not on the screen, do you think awareness will lead to heightened acquisition?
I think that awareness definitely leads to acquisition. I think that my motto is education is elevation. And typically, if people know better, they do better. There are people that are willfully ignorant. So we ain't going to think about those individuals and how I'm responding to this question. What I've known from talking about, PrEP, PEP, and DoxyPEP on my social media, different pages, is that most of the general public does not know about none of this. You feel me? So for me, it's like a simultaneous. I think there is a multitude of things that has to be done at the same time, and being able to recognize that there are going to be different people that become convinced or become aware based off of the multitude of these different things. I think removing the stigma and being able to teach around and teach through the pathology of people with HIV and how we think about HIV is a part of us raising awareness about PrEP and PEP. But I also think it's about getting towards the U equals U and being able to teach people like what that means and what that does and kind of how far treatment for HIV has come. And people that don't know, undetectable equals untransmittable is what I mean by you. I'm assuming people already know what I'm talking about, though. I'm up there talking to you, so I feel like
they don't know. Actually, yeah, but you own it. But
I think that there are a multitude of things that has to be done to make it where people become more aware, and some of them are prerequisites before we start to even talk about the actual, medications and treatments itself. And some of those might be just necessarily treating them and doing them, treating people and teaching them how to do it. I think that psychologically, the PrEP for a lot of Black people, especially straight Black people, to say, being straight is the saying.
Right.
I think that recognizing that one of the treatments is you consciously and subconsciously acknowledging that you come into contact with people that may already be impacted by HIV. I think that is a part of the very intentional conversation that we have to have. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why I go back to removing the pathology, removing the stigma, because it's like thinking about that. Like I'm going to take PrEP because there's a chance I might come into contact with somebody that has HIV and I don't want to contract it.
And I think that's important because will you agree that within the Black community, we do a lot of sex shaming?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Thank you. That was easy. That was easy. No, you good. Keep it 100. Keep it 100. And I think that's true. We do a lot of sex shaming. You know, we look at it, and it's a double standard. It's a double standard in the Black community. Bridget Picoult, phenomenal HIV advocate, just shared it's not about awareness, like you said, kind of what you said. There needs to be understanding, access, and encouragement. And I think we also got to understand too is that there's a lack of access to a lot of resources when it comes to HIV prevention. I live in California. I live in LA. We're very pseudo-progressive when it comes to accessing care, right? But when you go down south, you got people down south that cannot get into care. They have to drive 2 hours to see their doctor. They got to take a day off work and find a friend to drive them all the way to the next city to get some comprehensive HIV care. So I live in a level of privilege. Other people don't have that same privilege. So that access is different. If a woman goes to her doctor and says, I want to get some certain kind of things, the doctor may shame her and say, you don't need that. That's for gay men. You're not a gay woman. You ain't no loose woman, are you? What's going on? So now she's shamed for trying to be proactive about her sexual health. You know, then you got the brothers out there that may look like the conscious lead. He going to say, I need PrEP. The doctor said, you don't need that because you're not gay.
Yeah.
Sir, what are you talking about? You know,
but also too, some I read is that I think it was last year, 21% of the new HIV, cases came from heterosexual people that reported having heterosexual sex. So I think that, there is a lot of stigma that has to be, removed and encouraging and, access, because I never thought about it this way, but I feel like, in different parts of the Black community, people, we only can talk about being sexed, ED. Here we don't talk about sexing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get, nobody is sexing. You just get sex. We talk about it past tense afterwards, and that's what now we did with it. But the actual doing the deed itself, like unless you don't hear some raunchy hip hop, rap, R&B song, we ain't talking about it.
Right. Period. Point blank. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, about 2 minutes. We're going to come back. The last segment is diving into the Black church. So for the last 15, 20 minutes, consciously, trust me, this is uncensored, raw. You can say what you want to say. Ain't no filter. Keep it 100 like we do in DC. We traveling. Yeah. But we're going to come back after this break, talk about the Black church, and then do a few other questions, and then wrap it all up. We'll be right back in 2 minutes, y'all.
Elevate your entertainment with Watch Vim. Discover the ultimate online streaming destination. Get an auto-renewing monthly subscription for unlimited content on all devices. Join us in supporting a Black-owned streaming platform that brings top-tier entertainment. Let the streaming excitement begin at Watch Vim, your seamless experience for endless entertainment. Stream online or download the Watch Vim app now.
Are you ready for enlightening conversations that transcend boundaries? Get ready for Conversations with Clergy, brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. In partnership with the world's largest publicly funded international collaboration, the HVTN is dedicated to evaluating vaccines to prevent HIV and COVID-19. But their impact doesn't stop there. The HVTN is at the forefront of advancing vaccinology, social and behavioral sciences, statistics, immunology, and even contributing to the research on tuberculosis and COVID-19 vaccines. By supporting Conversations with Clergy, the HVTN not only brings you thought-provoking discussions, but also contributes to the global effort to combat infectious diseases. Tune in, stay informed, and be a part of the change. Conversations with Clergy, supported by the HVTN, empowering conversations, empowering lives. Join us in this journey of knowledge, understanding, and progress. Conversations with Clergy, proudly brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network, because together we can make a difference.
Know that you can now catch the electrifying sounds of Bulletin Flight Radio anywhere you go? Yes, you heard it right. Tune in to the high-flying beats exploring melodies by downloading the TuneIn app on your mobile device. Just search for Bullet in Flight Radio and hit play. It's that easy. And if you have a smart device like Alexa or Google, just say, "Hey Google," or "Alexa, play Bullet in Flight Radio on TuneIn." Experience the rush of adrenaline wherever you are. Listen to Bullet in Flight Radio on TuneIn using your Alexa or Google devices. Soaring through the skies has never sounded this good. Don't miss out on the ultimate musical journey. Tune in now to Bullet in Flight Radio on TuneIn and let the music take you on an unforgettable ride. Get ready to elevate your listening experience. Brought to you by Bullet in Flight Radio.
Welcome back to the second half of Conversation with Clergy with today's special guest, the Conscious Lee. For those that may not know, Conversation with Clergy is supported by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. The HIV Vaccine Trials Network, or HVTN, is a fairly funded think tank of researchers that really try their best to just resolve issues and create vaccines that will combat things like HIV, COVID-19, tuberculosis, and many more. They're globally located. That means they're international. They're all over the world. So I'm a part of the HVTN. I'm a faith ambassador, so I do work within the Black church to really bridge gaps between science and religion and have conversations such as this to really get us more involved in the fight against HIV and then to raise the awareness about vaccines and vaccine research. And then we have the Conscious Lee, who is also part of the HVTN. And what do you do at the HVTN, sir? Help us, educate the people.
Yeah, I like to pretty much use my platform in order to inform the people about the different things and the different services that HVTN has, but also the different information that just comes out about HIV. May it be about, removing stigma, may it be about increasing access, may it be about just talking about statistics. I am a community partner. That's what they call it, which I call it.
I love it. I love it. Speaking of community partners, the Black church is arguably the core of the Black community. Sadly, when it comes to HIV education and prevention, they avoid the subject for fear of introducing conversations about sex, sexual behaviors, and sexual identity into worship spaces. So, Conscious, in your opinion, how has a lack of support by the Black church been a detriment in the fight against HIV?
I think that a lot of the stigma uniquely in the Black community can be attributed or can be given credit to the church, especially, that's a big one right there, especially because most of the time people double down on why they think about HIV or what they think about people, in the LGBT community. It usually has to do with how they have been indoctrinated by their religion or how they have doubled down on different ideas about Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, or being fruitful and multiplying, or you name the Bible Belt cultural colloquials, that you'll hear in the hood, that you'll hear in the Black community real large,
I agree. And I think if the Black church would just understand that people just want to learn and have their information. I always reference Dr. Najuma Smith. She's a phenomenal pastor out here in LA, and I attended her church one Sunday for an HIV workshop. And from the pulpit, she held up a condom and a Bible, and she said both can save your life, but depending on the moment, which one are you going to choose? Everybody's not going to get that Bible when Luther Vandross is playing in the background. They not finna get the Bible on Summer Walker. They not finna get the Bible and all that kind of stuff. They finna go ham, go for broke, and then pray afterwards. And you talked about sexted and sexting. In the moment, you may be thinking about God, but not the way you should be thinking about God. And I think that what we got to do is begin to understand that people are having sex. Christians are having sex. Single Christians are having sex. Single gay Christians are having sex. And we need to understand these same individuals gather together every single Sunday in the church to worship God. So we need to start having these real conversations in places of faith, because that's where people are going to get their information. Similarly, what happened during the Civil Rights Movement, everybody Black went to the church to get their advice from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. because the church was the safe space. But some kind of way, when it comes to human sexuality, the church is not a safe space and does a disservice. So I agree with you. We have to begin to change that pathology. And understand the Black church is rooted in white supremacy.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
When we begin to go deeper into the core of the Black church and its formation and some of the traditions and tenets that we subscribe to is rooted in white supremacy. And it's nothing but Pablo Freire, the pedagogy of the oppressed. The oppressed people are oppressing people because they feel more better than those who are oppressed in society. So kind of like what you said about the communities that can be discarded.
Definitely.
I'll let you go now. Go.
I try to be very mindful when talking about the Black church because I know how it's been a safe haven for many different Black folks in our community throughout, you know what I'm saying, throughout Black history. I also can acknowledge that there's been a lot of people that have been excavated from their families, in their households, in their communities due to the Black church because of their mere existence and how they exist. So for me, I try to be very mindful of when we had these conversations, especially when we were being critical about how the church is structured by white supremacy. I'm thinking of, the James Cone theologies of the world, or thinking of, the Nat Turners of the world, and being able to recognize that sometimes the word can be something that can fuel people, that can, that can help liberation of Black folks, and sometimes the word can be something that can really encourage the captivity of Black folks. And I think that there is sometimes, you feel me, a nice balance that I try to have. I know that people listen to me and sometimes hold on to every word that I say. With that being said, I think that the overall stigma of HIV in the Black community, I would give a plethora of that to the Black church, like in terms of like, hey, y'all, the reason why so many people in our community will click up with actual white supremacists, in spite of saying forget the drag queens or forget the girls or forget the trans people, is because how people do it in that, in that pulpit, how they teach people to think about, hey, you might sin every other day of the week, but at least you ain't like those gays over there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Get your skin right now. Let's all turn thumb and finger over there, and let's try to get these gays to stop being gay, because that is the unfoulable sin that we can't do this, that, and the other. And it's just like that idea is what makes my job harder, even when I'm not talking about HIV. Even when I'm talking about just mere acceptance of people that's in the LGBT community. Now I got to hear all these old archaic Christian symptoms that was used to kill Black people now going to be used to demonize Black gay people. And it's like, I don't know what to do with this.
I love it. I love it. I love it. There's a comment I want to get, the really big comment. But basically, Brian Chereznowski, he highlighted the fact that we cannot put everything on sex when it comes to HIV contraction, which I agree 100%. We also got to look at the use of needles. People are out there using dirty needles. Meth use is at an all-time high in America. People are using meth. They're shooting up drugs. They're using dirty needles, and they're contracting HIV through the sharing of needles. So I want to put that out there. So listen, you can take it down, Kwame. So listen. Anybody out there that is using drugs, if you are addicted to meth, if you're using drugs, I do behavioral modification and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to tell you to stop using drugs. That's not me. I'm not a substance use counselor. But what I am going to say is clean your works, clean your needle, clean what you're using. And a surefire way to make sure you're using clean needles is if you're in a group of people who are injecting, you shoot up first. So it's like, yo, I'm not taking nothing past to me. I'll just go first and I'll pass it around. That way, you're fresh out the pack. You use clean needles, all that kind of stuff. But those are things we got to do. So instead of looking at them and saying, look at them over there shooting up drugs, that don't make no sense. I don't know why a person shoots up. I don't know why.
In this conversation right here about drug use and also how HIV is transmitted outside of just sex, it made me think about sex again, and thinking about even as a cisgender heterosexual man, when we start talking about sex education, a lot of people don't like to have practical, real conversations about how people practically move in this material world. You feel me? So people usually want to talk about abstinence over talking about sex education. I think that those little legacies impact how we have conversations about HIV and STDs, because now it's seen as, well, if you kept it in your pants and you did when you was married and this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other, your ass wouldn't be that. That is a part of the problem. Right. That's a part of the problem. And I thought of it when I started me understanding that you are a clergy man that is also a doctor, talking about cleaning needles.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm having this conversation in Houston, Texas. You know what I'm saying? If anybody my age or older or even 5 years younger came in and heard Dr. Donta Morris, the clergy, talking about cleaning your needles, and if you can't clean it, but you better try to use it first, people be like, what in the hell is this world going to? Made me realize that there are a lot of people that have tricked themselves into not having real life conversations.
Right. And further to what you just said, how we set a lot of gay men up to go out and expect to contract HIV. Because when they come out, the first thing the family say, you finna go out there and catch AIDS now, ain't you? First of all, you saying AIDS, that just shows your intelligence level. But a lot of kids out there, they leave home, get kicked out of home, and their expectation is I'm gonna catch HIV because they have now made HIV synonymous with their sexuality. So you gay, you gotta have HIV, period, point blank. You don't have HIV, you gay, what's up with you? You not having sex? You know, it becomes the norm, and we gotta debunk that as well. Last question for you before we wrap this up, and you kind of alluded to it already, but this is gonna just take it over. As a Black, cisgender, heterosexual man, why is advocating for LGBTQ equality important to you?
It's important because in my heart, I know that if some of us ain't free, then none of us ain't free. And a lot of people in our community typically forget about the Black experience within the LGBT community. A lot of us take these pro-Black sentiments, and there'll just be white supremacy and blackface. For me, it's like if you care about Black people, you gotta care about Black people in every instance. Meaning that you care about the multiplicity of ways that Black people experience white supremacy and how we navigate this world. All of us ain't straight. All of us ain't cisgender. You feel me? If you can recognize that all of us ain't straight and all of us cisgender, you should care about the unique ways that white supremacy impact people in our community that are trans, gay, lesbian, intersex, asexual. Like, I feel like all those things, you know what I'm saying, should matter, as well as thinking about like Black disabled people, Black poor people, Black people that, you know what I'm saying, like that. To me, it's just recognizing that the beauty in Black people and the beauty in Blackness is that we can be positioned in different ways and that we can be manifested in different ways. If you really believe in that beauty of Blackness and Black people, I think you should always already be accounting for the multiplicity of it. You feel me?
How do you combat the ignorance of people that say you going so hard for them, you must be one of them, are curious about it? How do you combat that? Because I as a Black cisgender homosexual man, you know, I love you because you are true to you and you're an ally to my community. And we had more straight Black men, you know, riding with us and fighting these systems. Imagine what the community can do. However, when I do meet a brother that is like you, they whispering to me, I got your back. But you know, Donta, I can't really go out there because I don't want them thinking, you know what I mean? Because okay, so what do you say to those that try to combat your truth?
Man, for me is I move around with that double consciousness, not only in terms of race, but also in terms of my advocacy, because I know that there are going to be people that feel like I'm down low or think that the reason why I advocate for trans women is because I only want to sleep with them. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. So for me, it's just really being able to recognize that I don't have to be caught up in the confines of masculinity while I believe I got to prove my straightness every day. You see what I'm saying? I feel like I'm 33 years old. When I was in my early 20s, I let go of this idea of like, I let go the exhausting ideas of manhood and masculinity. They say I have to prove that I'm straight every instance. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's like every group got assholes. I was trying to cuss, but you know what I'm saying? For me,
that's real.
In acknowledging that every group got assholes, I try not to allow for the backlash of assholes to find my identity, my advocacy, or my principles. You know what I'm saying? And it's being real. There are going to be certain people that believe because I advocate for the LGBT community, I must be gay.
Right.
That's just a reality that I have to accept.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that. You feel me? I can move on now. You feel me? And it's just part of the territory that I've gotten myself into. I know it come with it, and it is what it is. Because then, you know, One video, they're gonna tell me I'm pandering to the LGBT community. The next video, I'm pandering towards women. The next video, I'm down low. The next video, I'm just doing it so I want some coochie. It's like, which one is it? You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's like, you know what I'm saying? But for me, it's like if I allow for the pulling and the tugging and start to impact me, it'll impact my message. It'll impact how I show up. And just being real, it's gonna be folks that disagree with what I say.
Period.
Like that's just gonna be a realism part of what I'm doing. The question for me becomes like, how much am I gonna let their disagreeing with me impact me, and can I prove what I'm saying? Can I back up what I'm saying? And just so happen to come from a policy debate background. Just so happen to be with the intellectual shit. You feel me? So it's like 9 times out of 10, if you think that, you know what I mean, I'm lying, or you think what I'm saying is empirically false, challenge me.
Bro, and you don't want to do that. Trust me, y'all don't want to do that.
But listen though, set time speeches though. I'm not gonna be screaming at you. You're gonna be screaming at me. We're gonna be listening to each other. You can pick how many speeches we give. You can pick the time amount of the speech. I guarantee you, I will intellectually bust your ass so bad the folks will come looking for me because they're gonna feel like I verbally assaulted you.
I love it. I 100% love it. That's why I rock with you, man. That's period. Because you stand on it. You stand on it. And I tell people all the time, if you really want to go toe to toe, I've even told pastors this that try to battle me about certain things when it comes to sexuality and behavior and identity. I'm like, you really want to go toe to toe? My whole dissertation is debunking everything that you're talking about. You've been taught to believe. So if you really want to go to, let's go. Because I have research data in a library.
I read this book when I was in 7th grade that said that biology, and it's like, hold on. So you finna debate Dr. Morrison with your 8th grade understanding of biology?
That part.
Let's see how far you go. Let's see how far you go.
Let's go.
Shout out to you, Bridget. Appreciate you.
So, Conscious, let people know how they can follow you, support you, and all that kind of stuff. I know you got a whole merch line out. You know, I love it. Like I said, I got my hat today. You wearing one of your own T-shirts right there. Education is elevation. So let the folks know how they can reach you, contact you, follow you, and whatever you feel comfortable sharing about what's next on your life's agenda.
Yeah, definitely, man. theconsciously.com right here where they have it at. The Consciously on all social media platforms. So you see how they got it spelled right there. Our motto is education is elevation and research over me search. If you're interested in booking me for a workshop facilitation, a consultation, you know what I'm saying, or just reaching out and asking me some questions or giving me some ideas to do some videos, theconsciously.com is where you can go. Right now, I'm also working on my online class where I'm dropping the Conscious University, and I have 2 classes. One of them about intersectionality and identity, the other one about oppression and, you know what I'm saying, different identities. You know, check it out. I have it available on the website very, very soon. I also got a book on the way, working on the book, and it's been a long time coming. You feel me? It's been a lot more difficult than I felt like it should have been, but book is on the way.
Most def. Hey, y'all, make sure y'all support. Look, y'all are looking at Black Excellence. So if y'all never seen it before, you're looking at it right now. You got 2 brothers that's on the same page talking about something that's critical to the Black community. So you'll join us in our labors of love as we just combat, you know, myths, misconceptions, stigmas, and stereotypes and all that, so we can become more inclusive community. All right, we owe it to ourselves to do that. Also, check out the HVTN's website. Go to Faith-Based Initiative. Go to hvtn.com. Check out the Faith-Based Initiative. See all the amazing work that I and my cohorts are doing to really educate about HIV, COVID-19, and vaccine research within communities across the globe. So check us out. Also follow me on Instagram, Donta_Morrison, Facebook, YouTube, all that kind of good stuff. Go to the website, DontaMorrison.com, learn more about what I do and all that, and just check us out. All right. So I'm telling you, yes, Otto Boone, someone can live a normal life living with HIV. I am a witness. I was diagnosed in 1999, and I am still here 25 years later, still here, Otto. So yeah, I got you, Otto. If you feel alone or by yourself, inbox, we can talk about it. All right, fam? So thanks to Pyro Media for making this happen. Kwame Corbett, always the man behind the scenes, making this a top-notch show. Conscious, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Anytime you want to come back on, you are more than welcome. This is your platform as well, because elevation equals education. Education equals elevation. You know, hey, we did it. Kwame, take us out.
you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.